Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the Next Level Fear Show, everybody. It's your boy, Rad Torado, and I am back with another video. We're going to be talking about why I believe men should hold their ground, stand on their principles, stand tall and firm like a tree, and don't budge when you truly believe that what you're doing is for the best interest of your family. All right, we're gonna get into that. I'll use my own personal experience. But before I go into that, I just wanna say, you know, the channel is definitely moving towards my personal experiences and how I can get that message across to you and allow you to take whatever it is you want to take from it. Either you learn from it, either it's food for thought, and do as you wish with it, right? I mean, this is probably the third attempt that I'm making this video, and the reason why I keep doing it over and over and over again is because I want to make sure that I'm clear with the message. And I do this because there's not enough men today that are doing these types of videos. Not enough of us, and for so many different reasons, right? A lot of men may feel as though maybe they're not articulate enough. Maybe they may feel they're not intelligent enough. They're shy, talking into a camera. It's not the easiest thing to do. So many different reasons. And trust me when I tell you that in the beginning, I had all of those issues. Every single one. But what makes it easier is when you talk about real things, real issues that you've gone through in your life. That's what makes it easier. That's what makes it authentic. That's what keeps me focused on the lens, and I'm able to look at the lens and just talk to you guys. Just keep it 100. I find that works. And I think that this is partly the reason why maybe the following is steadily growing with every video that I make. And I'm happy for that. I'm thankful for that because maybe you guys do really want to listen to what I have to say. I'm not going to satisfy everybody. I'm not going to make everybody happy. I know for a fact that some of the words that I use are triggering, and I know that people are going to disagree. And that's fine. We can disagree to agree, right? Or we could agree to disagree, whatever it is. With that being said, let me just get right into it. Because there isn't enough men in this space talking about real issues. And I don't mean the influencers that are talking about, like, you know, the red pill space, or, you know, women acting out of order. We know that. And we can say men are acting out of order as well, right? We can say men aren't living up to their standards. The men today are not like the men yesterday. We can say all of that, but we can say the same for women as well, right? It's not just about women behaving inappropriately. But there are issues. There are issues with relationships. There are issues with both men and women finding relationships. And these issues are, in my opinion, going to be huge within the next 10 to 15 years. You're going to see a lot of lonely, single people out here in this world, and it's a terrible thing. So moving into why I believe men, fathers specifically, shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to all the dads out there. Shout out to all the fathers out there that have been putting in work from day one. From day one has been putting in work and has never missed a beat. Shout out to you. Merry Christmas. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. All right. I hope you're with your kids. Yeah, it's important. And if you're not, this video is for you. If you're not going to be with your kids this holiday, this video might be for you. For whatever reason it is. And so I think that fathers should definitely stand their ground with their children when it comes to them behaving inappropriately, when it comes to them being out of order. It doesn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl, your son or your daughter, it doesn't matter. If they're out of order, they're out of order. Okay? I had a situation with one of my children where she was behaving out of order. About a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, she did something that I felt was inappropriate. Now, fast forward to present day. That issue was never resolved. So for a year and a half or so, the energy in the house was terrible, to the point where she was no longer coming here. Okay, she was staying at her mother's house, and I felt like our relationship was going down the tubes. I felt like our relationship was going down the tubes because she didn't see, or she didn't want to submit and apologize to her dad. That's how I took it. And remember, that word submit is triggering to a lot of women. So let me break down what I mean by submit. When I say that my daughter needed to submit to her dad, what I mean by that is she needed to be accountable. She had to have some self-respect. She has to respect the people in my home, in this house, her sister, her brother. She needed more humility, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's other words that I can use, but that's what I mean by submitting to her father. Because what I wanted in general, what I wanted in a nutshell, was for her to apologize and accept the things that she was doing wrong from the very beginning. Our issue, and the reason why there was an issue there, was because throughout the year and some odd months or whatever it was, we would have these disagreements. Sometimes there would be arguments. I would raise my voice. I would use profanity. I would start cursing, and I would talk to her in a very stern way. Very stern. I wasn't holding back on how I felt about the things that she did in her life. And there's so many reasons why. But in her eyes, because I never spoke to her that way, she probably felt that she was deserving of an apology. And so she wasn't going to apologize to me for the things she's done unless I apologized to her, and it wasn't happening. And I told her that. I said, you would never get an apology from me. Why? Because I didn't do anything to you. What you did was highly disrespectful. What you did was a lie. What you did was inappropriate. And I'm never going to apologize for that. And so because of those words, because I said I would never apologize, she chose to say, well, you know what, if you're not going to apologize, then I'm not going to apologize, which I thought was immature and it was ridiculous, right? So over the past few days, on Saturday, I had an event here. It was a celebration of my marriage, and I had a few people over, and it was very intimate, and it was very personal to me. And of course, I wanted my children there, and she was the only one that was not going to be there. And the only way that she could attend this personal day for me, this very important day for me, was for her to apologize. Long story short, she apologized. All right, I'm skipping a lot, but long story short, she apologized wholeheartedly. And when she did that, let me tell you, man, it was like the air was clear of all negativity. The energy in the room was just lifted, and it was love. And all she had to do was just apologize and mean it. She didn't know that she probably thought that I wasn't going to apologize to her. But I had told my son, I said, if she comes here and she apologizes to me, then I will apologize to her. But don't say anything to her, because I need her to come here first. And she did. And when I apologized to her, I'm sure she wasn't expecting that. And I know she's grateful for that as well. What is the point that I'm trying to make? I think the point that I'm trying to make here is that when you stand on your principles, when you stand on your morals, and when you stand on your 2 feet, and you operate off of a belief system that you only want the best for your children, you could never go wrong with that mentality. You'll never go wrong with that. The minute you start flip-flopping, right? The minute you start accepting certain behaviors from your children, it doesn't matter what it is. It can start off small and then end up big, right? The minute you start allowing certain things to happen, and then it's just going to continue to happen, continue to fester to the point where you lose control, and now everything in your house is out of control. It's out of order. And I told myself, I don't care what anybody says. I know that I love my children. I know that I don't want them behaving a certain way. I've never raised my children to move a certain way. I've always taught them to have respect for themselves and to value the things they do. And, you know, I've raised them to be strong-minded children, to make good decisions. That's it. And so if I'm pissed off about something, then it's something that you did wrong. And so me not backing down and allowing certain things to happen proved to be the right way for me and my family. And I think now my daughter understands that if she's going to do something that's inappropriate, I think maybe now she'll think twice. You know, either that or she's going to try her best not to let me know. This is, as a father, I feel like this is the only thing that I can do right here is by being one way with my children, letting them know that their father is not going to tolerate certain behaviors. If you want to go ahead and live a certain lifestyle, then guess what? You can't do that here. You can't do that here. It's not going to happen. And so I think that's my message. That's my message for you guys. If if some of you dads, you young dads out there are now starting to experience, your first princess or your son, and they're starting to misbehave, or it can be anything. It can be them coming home late. It happened that one time. You got to nip that in the bud. You got to nip that in the bud. And today it's hard dealing with social media. You don't want to pry and check on their social media, but it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because God only knows what's happening on that cell phone between them and the outside world. God only knows. So if you don't nip certain things in the butt right now, it can be a disaster going forward. When it comes to, my daughter, who 17 years old, when it came to her having a boyfriend, that's an issue. That's a tough issue to swallow and handle. But she understands what I expect from her. And she understands that the boy she introduces to her father, this young man better come correct. You better come correct. And I think she's well aware of that. And it goes the same for my son. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna leave that here. I hope that you guys can build the courage, no matter who's telling you, maybe you should soften up a little bit. Nah, don't soften up. Be who you are. I don't care what family member is trying to convince you that you may be a bit too hard. Be who you are. When it comes to our girls, when it comes to our princesses, right? No one is going to love them. No man is going to love them more than you. And they have to understand that. No one. A father will always love their kids unconditionally. Anyhow, with that being said, if I don't see you on my next video, have a beautiful, beautiful Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. And I'll see you for the new year. All right? See you on the next one.